Lakewood, Colorado, July 19th, 2012. Charlie Craig and David Mullins enter Masterpiece Cake Shop hoping to buy a cake for their upcoming wedding reception. However, the owner of the shop, Jack Phillips, denied their request, saying he didn't make cakes for same-sex weddings due to his religious beliefs. Craig and Mullins left the bakery in frustration. When Craig's mama called to speak with Phillips the next day, he also told her that he didn't make wedding cakes for gay couples, also since same-sex marriage was still illegal in Colorado at the time. While another bakery did eventually make a wedding cake for the couple, Craig and Mullins still filed a complaint about Masterpiece Cake Shop to the Colorado Civil Rights Commission. In the complaint, Craig and Mullins claimed that the Masterpiece Cake Shop broke Colorado's public accommodations law, the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act, which said businesses couldn't discriminate against their customers based on skin color, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. With the assistance of both the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and the American Civil Liberties Union, Craig and Mullins sued Masterpiece Cake Shop. By the time the lawsuits went to trial, Craig and Mullins had married in Massachusetts. In Colorado Administrative Court, Judge Robert Spencer sided with Craig and Mullins, ordering Phillips to no longer refuse the business of gay couples in the future. Phillips responded by saying he'd rather close his business than bake cakes for same-sex marriages. Ultimately, though, he kept his business open and refused to follow the judge's orders. Meanwhile, with the help of the Christian legal advocacy organization Alliance Defending Freedom, or ADF, Phillips appealed the decision to the Colorado Court of Appeals, but it agreed with the lower court. Phillips then appealed again, this time to the Supreme Court of Colorado, but it refused to hear the case. On July 22nd, 2016, just over 4 years after Craig and Mullins first attempted to buy a cake from Masterpiece Cake Shop, Phillips requested that the Supreme Court look at the case. Almost another full year after that, the court agreed to take it on, and ultimately heard oral arguments on December 5th, 2017. The ADF argued that Phillips creating a wedding cake for a same-sex wedding would not only go against his religious freedom, but also his artistic expression. It said both are protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution. The court had to consider two big questions for this case. Number one, does the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act require that a baker has to make a cake, even if it goes against their religious beliefs? And number two, does the free exercise clause of the First Amendment give a baker the freedom to not make a cake for customers based on their religious beliefs? Well, the court said no to the first question and yes to the second question. On June 4th, 2018, it announced it had sided with Phillips and Masterpiece Bake Shop. It was 7-2. Indeed, the court said Phillips was protected from having to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding based on the free exercise clause of the First Amendment. While the court said that gay couples still should have civil rights protections under the laws and the Constitution, religious and even philosophical objections to same-sex marriage are protected forms of, quote, expression. That said, this decision was narrow. The court did not address the broader question of whether or not businesses had a constitutional right to discriminate against same-sex couples. Still, critics said this decision could lead to further discrimination against marginalized groups under the guise of religious freedom. Masterpiece Cake Shop, the Colorado Civil Rights Commission, highlighted the tensions between religious freedom and anti-discrimination laws. More accurately, it highlighted the tensions between Christians and the LGBTQ+ community. Despite all the progress the LGBTQ+ community has made in recent decades, it's a community that millions of Americans still refuse to accept. While Charlie Craig and David Mullins never liked the spotlight and have kept a low profile ever since the decision, Jack Phillips has become somewhat of an activist. racist. He later got in trouble for breaking the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act again for refusing to bake a cake for a transgender person. On January 26, 2023, Phillips lost that case in the Colorado Court of Appeals.